Hello, welcome to my videos on my blog. In this time, I'm going to talk about the NFL 2025 season week 10, predictions. Well, tomorrow is going to start the week 10, with the Thursday night football in a divisional game where the Denver Broncos are going to receive the Las Vegas Raiders in the Thursday night football. So, for that reason, I'm recording this video where I'm going to talk about the games that we'll be playing this week and my predictions about the game. So let's start. Well, this week there will be play only 14 games because 4 teams will have a bye week. These teams are the Cincinnati Bengals, the Dallas Cowboys, the Tennessee Titans, and the Kansas City Chiefs. So this is the reason. So how I told you in the beginning of the video, the week is going to start tomorrow with the Thursday night football, where in a divisional game the Denver Broncos are going to receive the Las Vegas Raiders. This game is going to be played in Denver, Colorado on 2015 Eastern time. In the last week, both teams won their games respectively, where the Broncos traveled to the south of the country and defeated the Houston Texans 18-15, where they suffered more than I expected, but in the end they got the victory. And the Raiders lost against the Jaguars in the overtime 30-21, where the Raiders could tie the game, but instead to tie the game, they decide to try to a top 2 points attainment in the extra point. They miss it and they lost the game. In this moment, the Broncos are leading the AFC West with a 7-2 record, and they have a 6 winning streak. And the Raiders are in the bottom of the division in the AFC West with a 2-6 record with a back-to-back losses. This is a divisional game, and even that the Broncos are one of the best teams in the league in this moment, and the Raiders one of the worst team in the league. This is a divisional game, and the distance reduced, so it's going to be an interesting game. But the Broncos are one of the best team in the league, even that his offense is a very bad offense if we compare with the defense. And I think that the Broncos won't have any problem, and they will win this game by more the 14-point difference. And the Sunday it will be start very early because it will be play another international game where the Indianapolis Colts and the Atlanta Falcons are going to travel to Berlin, Germany, where they will be play in the Olympic Stadium in Berlin, Germany, and 9:30 Eastern time. I think that this is the third game in Germany. Yeah, they have played in the last two seasons. So this will be the third straight year that an international game will be played in Berlin, in Germany. So it's going to be an interesting game, and this is the sixth international game of seven international games that will be played this week. This year, the last week, the both teams lost their game. The Colts traveled to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and they lost against my favorite team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, 27-20. Where the big difference here was that the Colts made 6 turnovers, 3 fumbles, and 3 interceptions. And of these 6 turnovers, the Steelers scored 21 points. So that was the big difference. And the Atlanta Falcons traveled to New England and lost against the New England Patriots 24-23. Why? Because in the last minutes of the game, the Falcons had scored a touchdown, and his kicker missed the extra point, and they couldn't stop anymore the clock. They recover the football, and for that reason they lost the game. In this moment, even with the loss, the Indianapolis Colts are leading the AFC South and the AFC with a 7-2 record. They are playing a very great football, and they are one of the surprises of the season until this moment. And the Falcons are in the third place in the NFC South with a 3-5 record and a 3 straight losses. So it's going to be an interesting game. The Falcons need to start to winning games because in this moment they are out of the playoffs. So it's going to be an interesting game, but I think that the Colts are better team than the Falcons. The Colts are going to recover for the bad performance against the Lakers. So the Lakers, sorry, as against the Pittsburgh. So For that reason, I think that the Colts are going to win this game by more than 10 point difference, and they're going to recover to the victory. And there will be play 7 games on 13 o'clock Eastern time. In the first game, in one of the worst game of the week, the New York Jets are going to receive the Cleveland Browns. This game is going to be played New Year's Eve in the MetLife Stadium. The last week, the Jets had a bye week. Remember that 2 weeks ago, the Jets visited the Cincinnati and defeated the Bengals, and this was its first victory 2 weeks ago. Sorry, and the Cleveland Browns also they come from a bye week. And 2 weeks ago they lost against the Patriots. So these two teams are two of the worst teams in the league, and they are practically eliminated. So the Jets are in the bottom of the AFC East with a 1-7 record, and the Browns are in the bottom of the AFC North with a 2-6 record. They are in the bottom of both teams. So this is a game that these two teams are very bad. I think that the Jets have the advantage because they will play home, but I think that the Browns are a little better, or a little better than the Jets. So I think it's going to be a funny game. I think that it's going to be a board game. And I think that the Browns are going to win this game by 1 or 3 point difference. And I think that the most probably this game is going to be defined in the last play of the game. And in another game, in a divisional game, the Carolina Panthers are going to receive the New Orleans Saints. This game is going to be played in the Bank Stadium, North Carolina. The last week, the Carolina Panthers did a surprise of the week, where they traveled to Green Bay, Wisconsin, and defeated the Packers 16-13. And the Saints traveled to the west of the country, and they lost against the Los Angeles Rams 34-10. In this moment, the Panthers are one of the surprises of the season, because in this moment they have a record about 500. Nobody expected that. In this moment, they are in the second place in the NFC South with a 5-4 record, and in this moment, the Panthers are in the hunt to enter to the playoffs. So it's going to be interesting. It looks difficult that they can qualify, but in this moment, they have the possibilities to enter to the playoff. This is amazing. And the Saints are in the bottom of the NFC South with a 1-8 record, and they have a four straight losses. So I know that this is a divisional game. When there is a divisional game, the distance reduced because the Panthers are playing a very good football. They are going to play home, and the Saints are a very bad football team. But in the end, I think that the Panthers are a better team than the Saints. So I think that the Panthers are going to win this game by 7 or 10 point difference, and they will get his sixth victory of the season. And another game, I think one of the best game of the week, if not the best game of the week, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will receive the New England Patriots. This game is going to be played in Tampa Bay, Florida. The last week, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had a bye week, and the Patriots the last week battled more than I expected, but they could defeat the Atlanta Falcons 24-23. In this moment, the Patriots are one of the surprises of the season because they are leading the AFC East with a 7-2 record, and they have 6 winning streaks. So this is amazing. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this moment are leading the NFC South with a 6-2 record. So it's going to be an interesting game. I think that the Patriots will have to show if they are a real team that can compete and defeat the top teams, or they are only defeat bad teams. So it's going to be an interesting game. But in the end, I think that the Tampa Bay are a better team. They will play at home, and they will come for a bye week. So I think that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won't have any problem, and they will win this game by more the 10 point difference. And in another game, in another tremendous game, the Minnesota Vikings are going to receive the Baltimore Ravens. This game is going to be played in Minneapolis, Minnesota. The last week, the Vikings did a surprise where they traveled to Detroit and defeated the Detroit Lions 27-24. And the Ravens play in the Thursday Night Football and defeated the Dolphins 28-6. It was an easy game. In this moment, the Vikings are in the bottom of the NFC North with a 4-4 record, but they still have possibilities to enter to the playoff. It looks very difficult, but they still have possibilities. And the Ravens that come from a bye week, they have a back-to-back victories and they have a 3-4 record, and they are 2 games below my favorite team, the Pittsburgh Steelers in the NFC North. The good news for the Ravens is now that for the rest of the season they're gonna to play most of the time against bad teams, so they will have to take advantage of that. And if they win all the games, they most probably they're gonna to win this division. And also the good news is that Lamar Jackson returned to play in the Thursday Night Football, and they will have 10 games to prepare this game. So it's gonna to be an interesting game. The Vikings have a tremendous defenses, but his offense is not very great, even that they won the last game. So it's gonna to be an interesting game, but because the Ravens, we have 10 games to prepare this game, 10 days to prepare this game, I think that the Ravens are going to win this game by 7 or 10 point difference. And in a divisional game, the Miami Dolphins, one of the worst team in the league, are going to receive the Buffalo Bills. This game is going to be playing the Hard Rock Stadium and Miami, Florida. The last week, the Miami Dolphins received the Ravens in the Thursday Night Football, and they lost in a very bad way, and they were humiliated where they lost 28-6, and the Buffalo Bills didn't have any problem, defeated the Kansas City Chiefs 28-21, where they had an easy game, and they should have won this game minimum by 14 or 17 point difference because they dominate the Chiefs. Remember that these two teams play in the week 3, in the beginning of the week 3, where the Dolphins play a great game, but in the end they couldn't keep that phase or that lever for the last quarter, because they play a very great game in the first 2 quarters, but in the last quarter they couldn't play in that high level, and the Buffalo Bills won that game 31-21. In this moment, the Bills are in the second place in the AFC East with a 6-2 record and a back-to-back victories, and the Dolphins are in the third place with a 2-7 record. The Bills are the favorite team, and I think that they will have an easy game. So I have told you, when there is a divisional game, the distance reduced. The Bills are one of the best team in the league, and the Miami are one of the worst team in the league. But this is a divisional game. But in the end, I think that the Bills are better than the Dolphins. The Dolphins are a mess, and they most probably, well, the last week, the Miami Dolphins fired his former general manager, and the most probably is that the McDaniels, the head coach, and Tua Tagovailoa, the starting quarterback, are gonna to be fired in the end of the season. So I think that this is a divisional game, but I think that the Bills won't have any problem, and they will win this game by more than 10 point difference. And in another game, the Chicago Bears are going to receive the New York Giants. This game is going to be playing the Soldier Field Stadium in Chicago, Illinois. The last week, the Chicago traveled to Cincinnati. Well, in a tremendous game, they defeated the Bengals 47-42. To be honest, the Bears dominate this game, but they wasted the opportunity. The Bengals took advantage with less than 30 seconds to play, but the Bears could get the victory with a winning touchdown, and the Giants received the 49ers, and they couldn't compete, and they lost that game 34-24. In this moment, the Giants are in the bottom in the AFC East with a 2-7 record. They are eliminated and 3 losing streak, and the Bears are in the third place in the NFC North with a 5-3 record, and they are in the hunt to enter to the playoffs. It's going to be an interesting game, but the Bears are better team than the Giants, so I think that the Bears won't have any problem, and they will win this game by more than 7 point difference. And in another game, in a divisional game, the Houston Texans are going to receive the Jacksonville Jaguars. This game is going to be played in Houston, Texas. The last week, the Texans received the San Francisco 49ers, the Texans received the Broncos, and they lost that game 18-15, where also the worst news is that C.J. Stroud the Texans quarterback, didn't finish the game because he had to he left the game in the second quarter for a contusion. So he sent out, and the most probably he's not going to play this game. And the Jaguars traveled to Las Vegas, where they suffered more than I expected, but they could get the victory in the overtime, 30-29. Remember that these two teams play in the first game in the week 3, where the Jaguars didn't have any problem, defeated the Texans 17-10. In this moment, the Jaguars are in the second place in the AFC South with a 5-3 record, and the Texans are in the third place with a 3-5 record in the AFC South. In this moment, the Jaguars are in the playoff zone, and the Texans are in the hunt to enter the playoff. It looks very difficult for the Texans to enter to the playoff, because now they have to win most of the games to try to enter to the playoff. But this is gonna to be a complicated game, because they will play, because the most probably is starting quarterback CJ Stroud is not going to play this game. They lost the first game against the Jaguars, so it's gonna to be an interesting game. But in my opinion, if CJ Stroud doesn't play this game, the Texans are going to lose that game. So I think that this is going to be a close game. The most probably this game is going to be defined in the last play of the game. But I think that the Jaguars are playing better than the Texans. So I think that the Jaguars are going to win this game by 3 or 7 point difference. And there will play a game in the 16:05 Eastern time in another divisional game. The Seattle Seahawks are going to receive the Arizona Cardinals. This game is going to be playing the Luminate Field Stadium in Seattle, Washington. The last week, the Seattle Seahawks traveled to the Washington DC. They didn't have any problem and defeated the Commanders 38-14. And the Cardinals traveled to the south of the country, and they defeated the Dallas Cowboys 27-17. In this moment, the Seattle Seahawks are leading the NFC West with a 6-2 record and 3 winning streak, and the Cardinals are in the bottom of the division with a 3-5 record, and they could have five consecutive losses. So it's going to be an interesting game, because remember that this is going to be the second game of the season between these two teams. Remember, in the week 4, in the beginning of the week, in the Thursday Night Football, the Seattle Seahawks traveled to Arizona and defeated the Cardinals 20-20, where the Seahawks dominate this game, but they complicate his game, and the Cardinals almost tied the game, and for several time. So the Seahawks have been playing a very great football in the season, and the Cardinals started very great, but after that they started to play in a very bad football, and they had a 5 losing streak. So it's gonna to be an interesting game, because it's a divisional game, but in the end the Seattle Seahawks is a better team also. But by the Arizona Cardinals, the head coach named the Jacob Brissett as the starting quarterback, because Kyler Murray, the Arizona Cardinals quarterback, is still injured, and he's gonna to miss the next 4 games. So about this game, the Seattle Seahawks are a better team. I know that it's a divisional game, but in the end, I think that the Seahawks won't have any problem, and they will win this game by more than 10 point difference. And there will be played 2 games at 16:25 Eastern time. In the first game, the Washington Commanders will receive the Detroit Lions. This game is going to be played on 16:25 Eastern time on Washington DC. Remember that this is a revenge of what happened in the NFC divisional run the last season, where the Commanders is surprised and upset the Lions in that run. So this is a little revenge for the Lions. The last week, the Commanders received in the Thursday Night Football received the Seattle Seahawks, and they lost, and they were humiliated when they lost 38-14. And the worst news is that the Commanders lost his starting quarterback, Jaden Daniels, that he got injured for 3rd time in the season by an elbow injury, and he's going to be out for the rest of the season. And the Lions were surprised where they lost against the Vikings at home, where they lost 27-24. In this moment, the Commanders are in the 3rd place in the NFC East with a 3-0 record. They have 4 consecutive losses, and they are eliminated because Jaden Daniels is going to be out for the rest of the season. And the Vikings, with the loss, they lost the leadership in the NFC North, and they're in the 2nd place in the NFC North with a 5-2 record, and in this moment they are in playoff zone. So it's going to be an interesting game, but I think that because Jaden Daniels is not going to play with the Commanders, and the Lions will want to take revenge of what happened the last January, I think that the Lions won't have any problem. They will win this game by more than 14-point difference. And in the last game in the same time, in a divisional game, in a tremendous game, the San Francisco 49ers are going to receive the Los Angeles Rams. This game is going to be played in Santa Clara, California, in the Levi's Stadium. The last week, the 49ers traveled to the Big Apple and defeated the Giants 34-24. And the Rams received the Saints, didn't have any problem and won that game 34-10. In this moment, the Rams are in the second place in the NFC West with a 6-2 record. They have 3 consecutive victories, and the 49ers are in the third place of the same division with a 6-2 record. So this is very interesting because in this moment these two teams are in the playoff picture, but they need to continue both teams winning games because this conference, the NFC, is very close, and a loss can make that any of these two teams can be out of the playoffs in the end of the week. Also, this is going to be the second game of the season between these two teams because in the week 5, in the Thursday Night Football, in the beginning of that week, the 49ers did surprise. They upset the Rams in overtime 26-23. So this was an amazing game. So I expect the same kind of game, but now the Rams will want to take revenge against the 49ers. They have been battled a lot in this season because they have a lot of injured players. I don't know if in this game the Brook Purdy 49ers starting quarterback is going to play this game. So I think that the Rams are better team than the 49ers, and I think that the Rams are going to learn what happened in the week 5. So I think that the 49ers will win this game by more than 10-point difference. And in the Sunday Night Football, it will play a tremendous game where the Los Angeles Chargers are going to receive my favorite team, the Los Pittsburgh Steelers. This game is going to be played in the Inglewood, California, in SoFi Stadium and 2020 start time. The last week, the Chargers traveled to Nashville, Tennessee, and they battled more than I expected, but they could defeat the Titans 27-20. And my favorite team, the Colts, and so now the Steelers did a surprise, and they upset the Colts 27-20, where the Steelers didn't play a great game, but what happened? The Steelers provoked 6 turnovers for the Colts, and the Steelers scored 21 points from that 6 turnovers, and the Steelers got the victory. So it's going to be an interesting game because in this moment, both the Steelers are leading the NFC North with a 5-3 record, and they could back-to-back losses, and the Chargers are in the second place in the AFC West with a 6-2 record and a back-to-back victory. So in this moment, both teams are in the playoff. The Steelers need to continue winning games because the Ravens are chasing them, and the Chargers need to continue winning games because this is a very the AFC is as close as the NFC, and if the Chargers lost that game, the Chiefs can maybe take advantage and to be in the playoffs. So this is going to be an interesting game. I think that the both teams have the same football level, and I think that unfortunately the Chargers will take the advantage because they will play at home. So I expect a close game, and then most probably this game is going to be defined in the last minutes of seconds of the game, if not in the last play of the game. And I think that unfortunately the Chargers are going to win this game by 1 or 3-point difference, and the week is going to be close with a tremendous game where in the Monday Night Football the Green Bay Packers are going to receive the Philadelphia Eagles. This game is going to be played in the Lambeau Field Stadium and Green Bay, Wisconsin, and 2015 Eastern Time. The last week, the Packers were surprised where they lost against the Panthers 16-13. Well, remember the Packers have been struggling a lot against bad teams because they lost against the Browns in this season, and they tie against the Cowboys, but the Packers have been playing a very great football against the top teams. And about the Eagles had a bye week. In this moment, the Packers are leading the AFC North with a 5-1 record, and the Eagles are leading the NFC East with a 6-2 record and a back-to-back victory. So The Eagles in this moment are the best team in the NFC, and they are the reigning champion team. So the Eagles will come from a bye week. They are always a very dangerous team, and the team to beat because they are the reigning champion team. But I think that the Patriots will want to take revenge of the bad game that they played and lost against the Panthers the last week. So it's going to be an interesting game. But I think that the Patriots are going to win this game, and the most probably this game is going to be defined in the last minutes, if not or seconds, or if not in the last play of the game. And the Panthers are going to win this game by 1 or 3 point difference. So I hope you like this video, and if you have any comment or suggestion, you can write me in another social media platform. So see you next video. Gibre.